Hello and welcome to Informatica support videos. My name is Donald Oji, and today's topic is on enabling or disabling Optimize Oracle SQL ServerWrite property at the mapping task level in IICS. So for the agenda, I will be explaining what exactly is the Optimize ODBC Oracle SQL ServerWrite property, and what exactly does it do. I will also talk about how this property can be enabled in the mapping task. And then finally, how you can verify that the property has been enabled or disabled, depending on the use case. All right, so the Optimize Oracle SQL ServerWrite enables array loading, right? So basically, this is an ODBC feature that makes writes to Oracle and SQL Server faster, by preparing the query once and then binding it directly with an array of values. Okay, so generating and issuing queries much faster to the database. So Oracle and SQL Server connections, they both use ODBC under the hood. And I also want to point out that this property is not the same as the bulk mode of the database, right? So there's a difference, the Optimize Oracle SQL ServerWrite property, what it does is basically it enables array loading, whereas the bulk mode is completely different query, where multiple records are sent in a single statement and inserted at once. But array loading creates a query, right? It creates one query per record for the database. But from the ODBC perspective, the query is generated once and allocates all memory and buffers for each value only once. So now that we have this out of the way, there are going to be scenarios where you don't need this property enabled for specific mappings. And also, you don't want to disable it at the DIS level, the secure agent level, because doing so might impact, it might have performance impact on jobs that depend on this property enabled. So in such scenarios, right, we need a way to disable this feature, for specific mappings. And yes, this feature can be turned on and off at the mapping task level, and I will demonstrate how this can be achieved in the upcoming slides. All right, so at the DIS level, you have these three properties that are set, right? So the first one is the Optimize ODBC read. So by default, this property is always set to yes. All right, and then the next one is the Optimize ODBC write. This property is set to no. And then finally, the one that we're really interested in, right? Because we're talking about the Oracle and SQL Server connection. So that one, it needs to be set to yes. The Optimize Oracle SQL ServerWrite, it needs to be set to yes at the DIS level. So basically, these settings will have the the Optimize Oracle SQL Server enabled at the DIS level, meaning every mapping, is going to be getting better performance. Every mapping that uses Oracle and SQL Server connection as the target. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, to be able to control this setting at the mapping task, right? Because there are scenarios where you don't need it and you want to turn it off at the mapping task instead of the DIS level. So at the mapping task, before you can use the custom configurations at the mapping task, you basically have to set this use custom session config. You have to set it to yes at the DIS level. And then after setting this property to yes, then we can go to the mapping task. And then under the advanced session properties of the mapping task, we need to use the custom property and add the following entries. So essentially, this is the opposite of what we added at the DIS level, right? So we set so in this case, at the mapping task, we set the read to null, we set the ODBC write to yes, and finally we set the Optimize Oracle SQL ServerWrite to null. All right, so at this point, we're pretty much done. We can save the mapping task and then run the mapping task. And remember, at the DIS level, we enabled this property, but then we disabled the property at the mapping task level. So essentially, the mapping task property is going to override the DIS level property. And we can see from the logs, right, that it's using the single row inserts. So it's working as expected. All right, thanks for watching. We would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions, you can contact us at the following links. Thank you.